Yes, it's another late night react. What can I say? I'm a little bit of a night owl. Hey, hi, hello, friends. How are you doing? It is quite late where I am. I think when I'm starting, it is like almost one. so, maybe not the best time to start, given that everyone else in my house is already asleep and I'm just like in my room with the lights on, with the fan off, because I don't want the noise and the weird flickering light thing it gives me. Just recording for you. As such, I'll apologize if I'm talking a little bit softer. I just don't want to wake my parents. They wake up very early for work. And my little sister. My brother's not here, but you know how it be. And this is still my room. I just rearranged the furniture and I got a different bed because that other one was very high. And also I was tired of it. I get bored with things a lot. So I just bought this cheap IKEA bed and I painted it white because they didn't have it in white for some reason. Anyway, with all that rambling out of the way, let's talk about why you're here. Hi, I talk about Chantel. If this is the first video of mine you've ever come across, well, you're here now, so that's something. If you don't know who I'm referencing with that, by the way, if you do know, let me know actually, down below. Anyway, I want to talk about Chantel's I'm a Farm Boy. I know it's old at this point. She has gone on live so much for the past few days. It's actually crazy. The next video I want to put up is probably going to be talking about her open chat video, unless she uploads something else and I get lost in her majillion hours that she puts up online every single week. I can't I couldn't, unless I stopped sleeping and eating and also working, I would not be able to keep up with her, okay? She's very prolific because she has nothing else going in her life, I'm sorry. But still, I'll do my best. I still wanted to talk about this, probably going to be a shorter video. I have about 7.5 minutes from her original video in here. And with all that said, let's jump into the react.
I am happy. Why shouldn't I be? Hi, Jay! I'm trying to be happy. Honestly, I don't know how to feel these days. I almost regret telling everybody everything.
So she starts this live with saying that, I am happy. Why wouldn't I be? And then just a couple minutes later, she skips to, well, I don't know, I'm just trying to be happy. Either you are happy or you're trying to be happy. And I think the reason why she feels the need to justify this so much is because she comes on here with a lot of energy. Now, if you guys aren't aware, which obviously, given the fact that it's Chantel, she has been on live very, very out of it, very low energy, very just down for days now, right? And any time that she's come on where she's been extremely hyper, we found out later that she was in fact let's just say she had a Coca-Cola before she came on. So it was a lot. But speaking of Coca-Cola, I'm drinking a Vita Coco, hashtag sponsored. I'm joking. No, no hashtag sponsored. I just like Vita Coco, so you'll probably see me taking swings of this every now and then. It's hot and I'm dehydrated. God, why does coconut water taste like that? Anyway, I don't know why I felt the need to share that. Chantel has gone on to say that, back then I was using, and that always makes people very suspicious. Now, anytime she displays any more than the tiniest bit of energy, people are like, is she on drugs again? Is she taking something again? Is it fair to be questioning her all the time? Maybe. The continuous guessing can make people feel very, very much so no one trusts them, no one cares about them, that they're always being interrogated. It can make people feel very, very, very much like everyone's against them. It can make it difficult to stay sober. At the same time, when you put your life out there, these are the consequences of that, right? If you don't want to put your life out there, that's perfectly fine. You don't want the judgment, that's perfectly fine. Then you got to keep all that shit private. You can't expect us to be okay with you monetizing something, but then not saying anything. That's not how it works. Either you get to monetize it, make a profit from it, or we can say whatever we want, or you keep it private and we don't say anything. But it can't work both ways. Unfortunately, those two thoughts are just incompatible with each other. So when she comes on here and she says, well, I'm trying to be happy, you guys. I'm trying to be happy. When just 2 seconds ago she said that, well, what do you mean I am happy? In response to someone saying, why are you so hyper? It's a little shady, and the use of verbiage here is very important. I think that Chantel's very telling with the words that she uses, with what she says and what she doesn't.
Because now it's just like every single time I come on, you're so, look at you. You're on drugs. I can't watch you anymore. Like, you're like hating on me for things that are not even true, you know?
So you are on drugs though, but that's the thing. You are on drugs. You're actively on drugs. Every single video we've had of you, you've been on drugs. It might not be illegal drugs, but it's still drugs, right? Like marijuana, mushrooms, all of those things are still drugs. You're still taking them. So people are like, well, you're high on drugs all the time. They are correct. They're 100% correct. Now, as for, her feeling bad that, people are asking her questions all the time, but are you sober? Are you sober? Here's the thing. That was a consequence of you using drugs and then also lying about it, and then using again and then lying about it again, right? The problem is that you have essentially put yourself in the position of the boy who cried wolf. No one is going to believe you now. You're in the position now where anytime you say anything, you're going to be questioned about it forever. And maybe in time, in a few years, people will just forget about it. They're like, it's in the past. She's changed. Even if she doesn't ever bring it up again, even if she doesn't actively apologize, people understand that people can grow from things, even if it's hard for others to admit it out loud. So I think if she had that kind of history behind her, it would be fine. Unfortunately, given that this was only a few days ago where she was like, yeah, sorry guys, I'm in the ER right now because I was doing drugs and I felt weird and all that, you can't be surprised that people aren't willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. You haven't earned it. You haven't earned back any of their trust. They're always going to be suspicious. And this has always been a long-standing problem of Chantel's. She puts stuff on the internet because she says she wants accountability. What she actually wants is the praise you get from the act of sharing, right? Sharing something tough about your life can be difficult, and people recognize that. So they're willing, of course, to give you the love and respect that kind of confession can generate. So, like, if you've been assaulted, if you have an addiction problem, if you have just any issues on the internet, a lot of times people, especially people who are struggling themselves, when they see you come forward with issues that you are having, they respect that. Because it can be so hard to tell people and just to put it out there for the world to see when you know you're going to get hate for it, when you know you're going to get backlash for it, can be a very empowering thing for others to witness. So, and Chantel knows this. That's why she will capitalize on it. She will essentially just tell people, I am struggling with this problem, so that people can turn around and then say, I am so sorry for you. You're being so brave. You're trying so hard. Essentially what our chat does now. They'll give her so many ass pats. They'll give her so much reassurance and love and sympathy and understanding. And not to say that people who are struggling don't deserve that. But when that's the only reason you're doing it, it becomes problematic, because the second part of that, of the telling people, is that now people know. And they have greater perception into your actions. And they're going to have thoughts about it. So when they give you all that love and admiration and respect that your confession has generated in them, and then you turn around and you essentially just flush it down the toilet, people are going to be upset. And you have to learn. That's the double-edged sword. You get some, but then you also have to give some, right? And she doesn't like that. She's never liked that. She doesn't like the give and take required in trying to make a confession public and trying to put something out onto the internet, because you can't just say, I'm sorry that I am addicted to something. People are then going to A, ask you questions, but B, they're going to look at you and they're going to think, is she still on drugs? And that negative reaction is something you have to anticipate. And when you've burned as much goodwill in your audience, you have to anticipate that. I'm amazed that she doesn't.
No, that's what bothers me. And even if I did do coke, why do I deserve all the hate for it?
You deserve all the hate for it because you normalize those actions. You deserve all the hate for it because you went around saying, it's fine if I do it every once in a while because I've done it before and because I won't get addicted, because I know myself so well. And you gave others the impression that maybe they too could have that level of insight into themselves. Because you lost 70 pounds of weight using coke, and then you said that it was healthy weight loss through Ozempic, because you lied to people about that. You convinced them that 70 pounds of weight loss in 3 months is a healthy goal to achieve. And then they thought to themselves, even I thought to myself when she was losing weight, I was like, fuck, man, I wish I could lose weight that fast. And that's the mindset you put people in. When people want to lose weight, when people are trying their best and they see you doing it, it can be upsetting. So no, That's why you deserve all the hate for it. When you come on here and you pretend like all of your actions are now absolved because you are an addict, a label that you wear so incredibly proudly, that is absolutely not true. Actions have consequences. These are the consequences for your actions. You might get a lot of love and adoration and respect from people for being able to come onto the internet and confess something that hard, but you're also going to get a lot of scrutiny from people who now see that your actions from previous times when you were talking about your life were impacted by something like cocaine, right? And that's a fair thought. That's a very fair reason for people to not like you. That's a very fair reason for people to dislike you. It's a very fair reason for people being hypercritical. If she had never said anything about her weight loss being healthy, about how she was losing weight, about the, magical effects that Ozempic was having on her, I don't think she would have gotten half the flack that she did. Or maybe she would have, I don't know. If she hadn't lied about it. If she had been honest and she's just been like, look guys, I've been doing drugs. I am so sorry. This is the thing that happened. I got to tell you. And even if she still struggled afterwards, I don't think people would have given her the flack. But because she lied about it, because she was combative and angry, because she essentially called FFG a liar and everyone who believed her a liar, she gaslit her audience about her drug use. She manipulated people's emotions. She implied that if people didn't continue to support her, she would become homeless and do even more drugs and then use that money to buy more drugs. All of those reasons have burned so much goodwill in you that even your addiction isn't enough to garner the level of sympathy that you want. And that's all she wants. She doesn't want the second part of it where that comes with the scrutiny and the hyper focusing on her life and essentially the accountability. Chantal has never wanted accountability, no matter what Chantal says. She is fundamentally incapable of it. She has repetitively displayed this pattern. She'll go through and she'll be like, well, I want a relationship. Well, I don't really want a relationship. I want someone who, I can cuddle with and go to movies with and we can do stuff and they have to call me this many times a day. Those are all relationship things. But she doesn't want to do the work on her end, which is make a commitment to them, which is make an emotional connection to them, which is letting them perceive you and perceiving them in turn. All of those things are much harder than simply cuddling and having sex, right? She wants the emotional commitment on their part, but not vice versa. So that's why when she thought Dom was having an affair with somebody else, she went absolutely nuts, despite the fact that they were never in a committed relationship and he was a free agent. If you are just friends with benefits with someone, or I guess dealer with benefits with someone, they don't owe you exclusivity. If you've never had that conversation, you've never defined the relationship, they don't owe that to you. If that's not the understanding you went into the relationship with. And that's not. They met on Tinder, if I remember correctly. So why did she go so mad? Because she doesn't care if she's not committed to him. She cares that he's not committed to her. That's why she plays so many mind games with him. That's why she tries to she'd be like, why didn't he want to cuddle me? Why didn't he call me? How, who forgets their phone at home? I forget my phone at home. I go out with friends and I don't text partner back the whole night. I have my phone with me and I'm just around the house and I don't text partner back for hours. Sometimes I find texting to be annoying. Sometimes I don't have my phone with me. Sometimes it's dead and it's charging in a corner. There's a variety of reasons, but none of those occurred to her because it's not what she wants. What she wants is the one-sided devotion in everything.
People are so friggin' chunky junky, or one woman emailed me and she was like, I want you to know I have a fulfilling life. You can get me for harassment all you want. No, I'm not on anything. I'm just hyper.
So, two things. I don't know what flipped the switch from Chunky Junkie being funny to now being something that infuriates her. I think the reason is because when she first said Chunky Junkie, people didn't know about the confession and the fact that she actually was on drugs. She thought it was funny. Now that everyone knows and that so many people are using it, I think she finds it upsetting. It's not the absolute of how bad that term is, how bad Chunky Junkie is to call someone. I wouldn't call someone that. I don't think it's funny. I think it's kind of mean. But I think it's because so many people are using it against her now. I think if it just been a couple of people calling her teasingly, I don't think she would have cared. It's not the absolutes that she minds. I think it's just that so many people have adopted it. And also, I don't think she likes how well it fits her. And as for emailing her and being like, well, I have such a successful life and all this and all that, why would you do that? That seems so weird. Like, for all that I don't like Chantel, I don't take the time out of my day to email her. That just sounds exhausting. If she's not going to watch a video to listen to somebody, why would she read my email and change her mind? I'm just wasting my time. At least in a video format, other people can listen to me. In an email, the only person who sees it is her, and she doesn't care about what I have to say.
It's annoying because I'm naturally a hyper person.
I want anyone to name one time where you observed her being high energy or hyper in like any regard. Because I cannot. She is generally a very low person. Like, I don't mean lowly. I mean that she's very like down. Her mood is very depressed. She's very like awkward and uncomfortable, and she's very rarely is she hyper unless there's like an immediate reason for her to be hyper. She generally tends to be very like, I don't know if dull is the right word, but very low energy for sure. And she's incredibly lethargic and lazy. We've seen that in every avenue of her life. So when she's like, I'm just a very energetic person, I'm like, bitch, where?
I have grandkids and I have kids. Oh, you live such a fulfilling life, but you have to make fake accounts to come and harass me every day. And then I'm like, yeah, email is harassing somebody after they tell you to stop emailing them. That's harassment. But please, like, how would you like it if your granddaughter grew up and was like obese and a drug addict? That's gonna be like, I don't wish that on anybody, but like if I had grandkids, like I would think of karma. Like I'm giving this negative karmic energy to someone else. You know what I mean?
So two things. If she's asked you to stop emailing her and you still keep continuously emailing her and make fake accounts when she blocks you, I would see that as harassment. Okay, like don't. The best way to offer criticism to anybody, I would say, is to do it in a manner in which you would be comfortable receiving it. Now, I try my best to stay in that realm. Sometimes I get very heated with these girls, and so I'm like not exactly the paragon of virtue here, right? Like I said, some people have commented about this before too. Sometimes I'm mean. It depends on my mood. It depends on what I'm personally going through, and honestly, it depends on their behavior. Sometimes I find their behavior a lot more reprehensible, and sometimes, like now, I look at her and all I see is a sad, sad woman sitting in her car talking to a camera because she doesn't have any friends. So depending on where I am on that spectrum of like pity and anger, it depends on how I react to them. But for the most part, the reason I don't call her names is because I've been called names and it's not helpful. Calling me Lardo does not make me feel any better. You know what I mean? Like, you can call me names if you want. And when I was younger, it really hurt my feelings. But it doesn't change anything. And while I don't believe that all criticism has to be constructive, I personally like to give constructive criticism. I want you to take something away from it. And by you, I don't mean Chantel, because I don't think Chantel's ever going to listen to anything I have to say. But I think you guys, the audience who are watching, I want you to take something away from this. Looking at what Chantel's doing, being introspective about her own actions can give us greater insight into what we're doing and how we're feeling. And I want you guys to take something away from my videos, even if it's just more information about Chantel. So I don't think that sending her emails like that, I don't think trying to shame her into it, being unnecessarily, cruel is going to help. That said, I'm not saying pull your punches either. I think Chantel needs a dire dose of reality, one that I don't think she's ever really gotten from anybody. And I don't think that coddling her is going to be the way to make her change the way that she's behaving right now, which is incredibly recklessly and stupidly. And I've said before that for all that I would be sad if she passed away, I wouldn't be surprised. And if it's just her life that's impacted, that's one thing. But Chantel has increasingly shown behaviors that will impact other people. And I don't think that that's fair. Like, for example, like wanting to leave the apartment. Her behavior has gotten the cops called on their apartment quite a few times. And Pete's is the one whose name is on the list, right? Her asking her, like, mom and her family members to take care of her when she's a grown-ass woman and they're elderly, some of them themselves. Her driving being the biggest one here, where she's continuously driving under the influence. And she's continuously driving compromised. Those are two different things. So I'm not saying pull your punches. I'm not saying that you don't have to say, like, you have to like always be constructive with your criticism. But I am saying that if you're going to send her an email, send her one email and try and be as calm and polite about it as possible. It doesn't hurt. And really, I really very much believe in the you attract more flies with honey sort of situation.
Regret telling everyone everything. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just like, I feel like, but that's life. Like, you get,
Sorry, I forgot to mention this before. She mentioned, she's like, how would you feel if your granddaughter grew up to be obese and a drug addict? I'm sure they'd feel bad, but just like with you, that doesn't absolve their granddaughter or anybody in your life of all of the negative wrongdoings. If you have personal emotional investment in that person, it might make it easier for you to forgive them for those behaviors, but that doesn't mean that all those behaviors go away. They're still being a shitty person. If your granddaughter, if my granddaughter gets behind the wheel of her car and she hits someone because she was driving under the influence, it might make it, I might be more inclined to forgive her because she is my granddaughter. She's my blood and I love her, right? She's family and I love her. I shouldn't say blood because I have adopted family as well and I consider them to be blood. I refer to them all the same way when I really mean they're family. I would I would love her no matter what. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't call her on her shitty behavior. That doesn't mean that the world doesn't get to call her on her shitty behavior, if that's what's happening. Because being a drug addict, being obese, having a sad life, none of those are excuses for being a garbage human being. You've had the instruction in your life. You've learned how not to be a garbage human being. So when you do shit like this, I know it's a choice. It's not because you don't know any better, because you seem to. You've displayed as much before.
obviously not everybody goes through this, but addiction is very, very common.
It
I think
is.
people want to get better. I'm not on drugs, Tracy, though. Like, I am, people, just because, like, I'm not, you don't see me going to an inpatient program right now, it doesn't mean that I'm not, like, you know.
But we don't see you going to any kind of program. She doesn't have a therapist right now. She doesn't have, she's not part of like any of the NA groups. She's not part of any online groups. As far as we know, she's not really even communicating to her family. And now she's back with Dom. So when you come on here and you say, well, just because I'm not doing any of the things that every other successfully recovered addict has done to become better, doesn't mean that I'm not doing anything. Okay, then you're on live, on camera, in the on the internet for like 10 hours sometimes in a day. So, when in those 10 hours have you displayed to us anything even remotely resembling growth? When in those 10 hours have you displayed anything even remotely resembling you getting better, even remotely resembling introspection? Because I haven't seen any evidence of that. All I've seen is you sometimes being on legal drugs and sometimes being on illegal drugs. As for her mood right now, I don't know if she's on anything at this moment. Like I said before, cocaine's a fairly fast acting drug. So within like half an hour, especially if you're snorting it the way that she claims she does and the way that we've seen evidence of, she would she would probably have it out of the system unless she did some right before she got behind the wheel of a car, right? 30 minutes is not a very long period of time. That said, that doesn't mean that overall you're clean. It doesn't mean that you are like overall doing fine. And also, it and also one of the things that she gets out of meetings with Dom, other than the obvious, the cocaine and the sex, is attention, is male attention, which she loves. She loves getting male attention. And I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but Chantel has some of the biggest pick me energy I have ever seen. You guys remember that comment? I think it was in reference to like Taylor Swift. She's like, I don't think I could ever like a guy who likes Taylor Swift. What's wrong with Taylor Swift? It's that mentality that a lot of girls have where it's like, ugh, you like Taylor Swift? Ugh, that's such boring, bland, everyday pop music. It's got real pick me energy to it. And she loves that she can go on live and she can say, oh, I just had the hottest tryst. That's how she is. She needs to brag, you know? They're like, I don't kiss and tell. Chantel kisses and yells, essentially. And that's what she got out of this. So she could generally just be on an upward right now in her mood just because of the fact that she got all that male attention that she craves.
I don't know. I think I'm too, like, obviously, same problem, I'm too impulsive. Like, I was having a low moment, but I don't want to like downplay or retract what I went through either, because that would like I do feel like it was becoming a problem, and I felt like I didn't want to be alone in it anymore. Like it's really lonely.
But we are not real to her. She's still lonely. She's still in that in that place because she's not willing to open up to anybody. And as far as, she's like, well, it was starting to become a problem. No, it was already a problem. It was already a problem. You don't get to 70 pounds of weight loss from cocaine without it being a problem. Okay? And I don't think even she believes that. I think this is just her saying it. Like when she says, well, I don't want to take it back. I think I was just having a low moment. I don't want to take it back. I think she would if she could. If she could take back all the information that she had put out there about this, she would. But she can't. That is a bridge even too far for her and her audience. Because people would question everything about her if she ever did that. If she ever went back and she said, I was never really an addict, either her entire audience would call her a lying liar who lies lyingly and they would abandon her, or they would just, I don't know, actually I can't imagine another scenario. If she ever went back and tried to retract that information, I don't think anybody would believe her. I don't think she could ever sell that story to people. Because either you believe her that she was making all of this up, in which case she's a highly deceitful person, or she wasn't making it all up and she's trying to take it back, in which case she's a highly deceitful person. Either way, people would not let this fly. And I don't think she could ever walk it back. But she would if she could, and she knows that. That's all what all this faffing about her is around.
Struggling by yourself, but at the same time, it's like, oh my god, all the friggin' love and support. I love you guys, but like, it can be annoying, especially from family who I know they just care about me and everything, and I feel so bad, but I'm like kind of avoiding people.
Remember what I said a second ago about us not being real to her? That's why. Because unlike with us, right, she can't just turn off a camera and be like, nope, don't want to listen to that right now. She can't just turn on like only supportive friends and family mode in her real life, right? Like she can with Super Chat, with her mods only chat, right? So when she is members only chat, I should say. So that's why her family irritate her so much. I'm sure the level of actual support she's getting online from actual people in totality is greater than what she's getting from her family. But where else her family can text her, show up at her house, call Pete, do all of those things. The most we can do on the internet is send Pete a DM over Instagram, right? Like it's not the same level of intrusion into her life. We don't impact her the same way, and she can't silence them the way that she can silence us, which is why she finds her friends and family so annoying. And let me be clear here. When I say friends and family, I mean family and Pete's. Maybe. Because I doubt that Chantel has so many good friends in her life who would still reach out to her and who would still be concerned that she's doing drugs. And I don't know how to feel about that, to be very honest with you. I've thought about that a few times. I have a few friends who have isolationist tendencies whenever they're under stress. They tend to like hermit crab and go into themselves. And because I'm close to these people, I don't let them do that as much as I can. But what ends up happening is that when you consistently shut yourself off from all of your friends, you don't reach out, you don't text, you don't call, you don't do any of those things. Eventually your friends get to this place where they're just like, okay, if you don't want to talk to me, I guess you don't want to talk to me. And even if they find out later that, oh, okay, this person was having a hard time at this point and that's why they weren't talking to me, it doesn't make it okay. People are willing to forgive you the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time. After that point, they're just like, oh, this person's just going to like not talk to me for months at a time because they're going through something. And then people just let it go. You just lose that closeness that you have with them. You have to learn to open up to people and confide in them. And that is a problem that Chantel displays in every aspect of her life. It's why she doesn't get along with a therapist, right? So when she says, my friends and family, she does mean just family. And even then, I don't think she's very open with them, but they have a history with her that puts her in a vulnerable position with them in a way that she can't have with anybody else.
Because I don't want to like constantly be like, I find it so demoralizing. Are you still doing good? You haven't done any coke, have you? Do you know what I mean? Like what it takes for recovery? Because it's just like, it's so annoying sometimes. I'm in a bad mood now.
Well, I mean, that's all they can do. Chantel isn't going through a therapist. She isn't going into inpatient. She isn't willing to like put any kind of effort into what she's doing. So what else can they do other than call occasion and be like, please tell me you're doing okay. please tell me you haven't done coke. I just saw you go live and your pupils look really dilated. You're still doing okay, right? You promise you're still doing okay? And to a certain degree, I think that's more of a reassurance for her family than anything else, because you can't force someone. Like, the biggest problem with therapy is that there's the concept of buy-in. Anyone who's going to therapy and like seeing results from it has already accepted that they need to change and they want to change and they're looking for an avenue of change. That's why they go to therapy. Ooh, my eyeshadow is not blended well today. Sorry, I was just trying stuff on. I just got a brand new palette. The Teresa is Dead in Lethal Cosmetics palette. The Lethal is Dead. Oh, beautiful palette. Anyway, what I was saying was that what was I saying? I've completely lost my train of thought. Let's continue.
Like, I was really, really happy. Like, you guys would definitely think I'm on something. But no, I'm just like naturally really, I don't know.
Okay. You know, she says, she's like, you guys would really think I'm on something. I had a friend who had this really terrible habit of buying things and then immediately returning things. And she had money problems. I'm not going to like, I would say that it was a wrong thing to do, morally reprehensible. But the company that she was doing to, let's just say that their name rhymes with Walmart. And they aren't exactly known for treating their employees well. Most of the stuff they source is sourced from third world countries, all that stuff. So I don't particularly give a shit that she did this to them. But she would buy things and then she would return them when she's used them. Because she's like, I can't afford to keep them, but I need them right now. She wouldn't do it with like clothes and stuff, but more like she needed like a pet vacuum. And so she bought a pet vacuum and then she used it a couple times and she cleaned it and then she returned it. Anyway. She used to do this, and whenever she would do this, after a certain period of time, people would start cottoning on to the fact that, hey, this girl comes in here a lot to return things. And they would ask her why she was returning something. And so she would use the thing that she couldn't fix when she was returning as the reason for her returning it. So, for example, when she had bought the pet vacuum, she used the pet vacuum, and then she cleaned it, and she put it back into the box, right? But obviously it had like a weird smell to it then, right? It smelled like wet and soapy and kind of funny. And so when she went to go return it, she's like, I bought this and it has a funny wet odor. And she would do this thing where she would just blame that most obvious thing, the thing that she couldn't fix, the things she couldn't explain away, the thing that she couldn't make better. She would use that as the reason for returning things. Now, whatever your opinion on that is different. I'm not going to judge her because I'm not in her shoes, honestly, and in every other regard she's been nothing but a good person. So but when I look at Chantel and she says, well, you guys will definitely think I'm on something, it gives me that energy. Like, she knows that people are going to suspect her, and so she's putting the energy out there before anyone else can. She's going to put this narrative out there before anybody else can, because then she said it first, and it can't be a lie. Why would I lie? You know, even I'm acknowledging that you would think that. It's not true, but I'm acknowledging it. And by acknowledging it, she thinks it takes away all of its power. And I don't think that that's true. It's a manipulation tactic for sure. And I'm not sure if she's consciously doing it or subconsciously doing it. But she's definitely doing it.
Sometimes I have lows, sometimes I have highs. Yeah, it's like you don't really want people in your business. Like, at the end of the day, it's like you do, but you don't. You can't have it all both ways.
She would if she could. She would have it both ways if she could. And when she says that, you know, you sometimes do, but you don't, it's the same thing that I was talking about before, where she wants all of that positive love and attention and affirmation. She wants the good kind of attention. The one where they're concerned about her and they love her and they're, you know, there for her if she needs anything. She doesn't want the other kind of attention, the, have you done something? Chantel, tell me if you've done something. I'm going to come to your house right now and I'm going to check. I'm going to take you to the hospital right now and I'm going to make sure they test you. You know, she doesn't want any of that. She doesn't want any of the accountability ones. You know, the texts that come in saying, I saw you driving under the influence. The texts that come in saying, how could you be back with Dom? She doesn't want any of those accountability. She doesn't want that. So it's the same thing all over again. You know, she wants all of the love and attention that something like this can bring. She doesn't care for any of the other stuff, the one where their worry and their love manifests in a negative light.
Baby June's is fine. I'm not abandoning my cats.
Why did she feel the need to clarify this? You were the only one who said you were abandoning your cats. Do you guys remember this when she's like, yeah, I'm going to give my cats away and, I'll just like move to, I feel like it was Jamaica or whatever the fuck it was. And she's like, I'll just like give my cats away. That's why people think that you're giving Baby June's away. We're not making that up. Like, why would I make that up? Until that point, until she said that, I had thought she genuinely loved her cats a lot and she would not get rid of them for anything. They come from you, man.
God. Can't even freaking go live from a bed without people losing their shit.
Yes, and look how happy she is about it. She knew that we would lose our shit. And I'm sure she regrets some of it. I'm sure she regrets the parts where everyone's like mad at her for seeing someone who obviously got her into drugs. But I don't think she's really mad about the fact that people know that she's sleeping with him again. Because she wants that attention. Even if it's negative attention. You know the saying that like no publicity is bad publicity, right? That's basically how Chantal lives her life. Any attention is better than no attention, even if the attention she's getting is going to be mostly from people who are saying, what the fuck are you doing?
Chode? What is this shit?
I left that word in there. What does chode mean? I've tried Googling it and I cannot figure it out. Is this lingo I am not aware of? Am I old now? Somebody tell me. I asked my sister and she wouldn't answer my question. She just walked away with a disgusted look on her face. So either the word is dumb or she thinks I'm dumb. It's probably the second one, but I still want people to tell me, please.
People are addicts or liars. Everyone's a liar. Like I always like to say, if you say you don't lie, you're a liar. Like,
she's never said that before in her life. So it's like I always like to say it. When do you like to say it? You've never said that before. And yes, everybody lies, and everyone should lie. I've said before, it's always better to lie about something to make someone feel better, especially if it's an inconsequential one. Yes, of course you look great in that dress. Nah, that stain on your teeth, barely noticeable. I adore your haircut. It doesn't mean that all lies are the same, right? Me telling my sister that her hair looks so different after her haircut, when in reality it looks nearly identical, is not the same as me lying to my family about doing cocaine for 3 months. Those are not the same caliber of lies. Yes, everybody lies. Sometimes they're white lies, they're tiny lies to make others feel better. Sometimes there's a less noble goal. There's a less noble reason, right? I have said before, I was not the nicest person when I was younger in my relationships, and I have occasionally said things like, I don't think I want to get married. I don't think I want to be in a relationship right now. But in reality, the truth was, I just didn't want to be in a relationship with them. I have said that, I'm really busy. I'm hanging out with friends tonight when I was just at home on my phone because I don't want to talk to them. I've ghosted people. That's unrelated. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm not like trying to make everyone forget. I know I was a bad person. It's a thing that I've actively worked to try and get better at. But those are not the same caliber of lies. First of all, now as an adult, more importantly, every person I've hurt, I've tried to make amends with, especially people that I hurt very badly. There's not very many of them. There's like 3 people, and all of them were in romantic relationships, and I went back and I apologized to them. Secondarily, any lie that I have told, mostly in my life, has been like small and not all of that important. Like lying to my boss about why I was late in the morning. Oh, I had car trouble. I did not. I slept in. Forgot to set my alarm. Stuff like that, Or occasionally it's if I forget to send somebody an email back, I'm like, oh, are you sure? Can you double check? You don't see it? Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. I'll send it again. Little things like that. Like when I was a cashier, I'd forget to press go forward on the screen. And I would say, oh, I think there was an error with the chip. Could you just swipe your card again? Like little tiny things like that. Right? Most people don't lie with the regularity and consistency that you do. And more importantly, most people don't have a need to. You have the need to do it. And then you have this weird habit of justifying it by saying, well, everyone lives their life this way. Everybody must do it. I do it, therefore everyone must do it. And it's not true. We've seen her do this quite a lot. I'm sure we've talked about it on the channel too, where she will go through and she changes from like the I to the we pronoun or the I to the you pronoun. She's very like, she depersonalizes a lot of stuff, and she'll say, you know I lied, but you don't understand. Addicts, we all do this. And she'll make it a royal we. She'll include herself into a crowd, because then the blame is dispersed amongst all of the people who are part of that crowd. I'm just saying, I am not an addict, so maybe my perspective here isn't as important. But when you lie consistently and about everything, and you've done it for a very long period of time, and then you become an addict, it doesn't mean that addicts lie. It means that you lie and you are now an addict, right? And not everybody is like that. Not everybody does that. And if everyone is telling you this, then maybe you're in the wrong. Just consider it.
Everybody otherwise is human. Humans lie.
Yes, humans lie, but humans lie about small things for the most part. Most people don't lie about large consequential things like these. Most people don't lie about whether or not they're sleeping with this person, all the while telling us that they're not, and then it turns out that they were. Most people don't say that they were clean on coke, and then we find out that they did more coke. Most people don't do shit like that. You do. You do things like that.
That's not a good trait to have, obviously, but I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just find some things weird. No, I'm not the Punisher at all, so...
I'm gonna throw up the Punisher's comment here. The Punisher's saying that it's really sad when you're saying that you're not doing drugs. When you are, like, please don't lie about that. It's disrespectful. And you'll see the way that she turns on her chat. Like, the fact that she still went on and she did an open chat after how hostilely she's being treated by a lot of her, members only, chats. I'm just surprised that she did that. That's all. I'm sure she felt that she could generate more money from it, but still.
What you think you know, you don't. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, we were saying that you were doing drugs. Not we, I mean the group at large, not I. You guys know, not Perceptive. The group at large had been saying it for a while. So when you come on here and you say what you think you know, you don't know. Well, we knew before. We potentially know again. And given how high you've been, how consistently high you've been, we wouldn't be surprised. And once more, we don't have to be right. If we are wrong, we're just that. We're just wrong. We misinterpreted the information we were presented with. When you say stuff and you turn out to have a different story later on, you actively lied. You're the only one who has the truth.
You're absolutely wrong. No, you didn't hear anything. You're imagining shit. The person that I was with was literally in the bed beside me, and I kept muting so they could cough. Because they're a freaking dirty smoker.
People were saying that they could hear, I think lines being cut or lines being snorted in the background of her video. I don't know. I don't have enough experience with this outside of random movies and TV shows. So I don't want to throw my hat into the ring and be like, yeah, this is what I heard. I don't know what I heard. She said it. She was just slapping her thighs. I think that that's what she was doing. And honestly, I think she was doing it because she was on drugs. I don't know if she just done drugs on there. What I will say, what I personally observed, was that she had one little dot on her lip. It was like a little white crystal. And it was there and it moved around a little bit and then it disappeared. And then I think it was crystals around her nose. So I found it very weird that those crystals were showing up in different locations on her face. I don't know. Maybe this stuff is easy and likely to move as you talk and you move your mouth and stuff. I don't know enough about this stuff to really be able to make a case for it one way or the other. Just pointing out that I think it's weird.
When I seen that, you can hear people cutting up, or hear somebody cutting up lines. People imagine things. You know when you look in the sky and you see a cloud that looks like Alfred Hitchcock? I think. So the only person you're punching is your damn self, Punisher. And whoever is buying into this shit. I mean, obviously I know people are going to think I'm going to be on it forever because it's not, number one, normally statistic.
So, she says that, you guys are all imagining things. Well, we're not imagining it. We're just interpreting information that we have in a certain way. And once more, we are just working with what we have and your history of lying. You know, the greatest indicator of future behavior is past behavior. And her past behavior has said that she does drugs and that she lies about them, and she does drugs when she's with Dom more often than anything else. So I'm not really sure what you expected here, man.
Okay, I know your car says bully on it, but move. This guy souped up his Toyota Corolla and has bully on it.
The way that she says souped up his Toyota Corolla, like, ma'am, your car is falling apart, your body is falling apart, you're on drugs and you're having sex on a dirty mattress on the floor. Like, shut the fuck up about somebody else's life circumstances. Like,
right, okay.
And by the way, they're like, what she's displaying right here is like road rage. I'd be real careful given the fact that you're literally driving compromised. Okay, I'm not saying she's high in this video, but she's reading chat, she's responding, and like at some point she's like putting her thumb on there so she can like block people. So like, what the fuck is that?
But no, like most people don't kick it right away, obviously. I'm not being cocky about it. I'm just working.
Most people who quit a long-term negative habit, whether it's overeating, whether it's drugs, all of those things, these things are actually fairly treatable if you can get into the right kinds of therapy for you, which is not, by the way, standard for everybody. Not everybody needs the same kind of therapy. So don't feel ashamed if you don't respond well to what everybody else is responding well to, okay? But when you have something like this and you treat it, it is fairly treatable. The problem is that without treatment, people don't tend to fare very well. So that's why people don't believe that your prospects are very high, Chantel. And you're engaging in the same high-risk behavior that led you down this path to begin with. So how can you come on here and say that, oh, well, you guys are all making stuff up?
You know, it's like I announce something like that, like I have a problem with this and that, but then I just don't want to talk about it anymore. And that's like hard for people, obviously, because when you admit something like that and then you just are so casual about it. But I
that's because she just wants the attention that brings. She doesn't want an actual discussion, but that's not how the world works. She calls her members her friends. If they are her friends and she tells them something, they're going to discuss it amongst themselves. The thing is that if it's just a group chat, it's one thing. But if you're putting it on your Facebook page, you essentially are saying, I want the world to know about this and have thoughts and feelings and emotions about this. We're going to have thoughts and feelings and emotions about this. You count on that. You count on people having thoughts and feelings and emotions about your stuff. If we didn't, you wouldn't get any money. If I didn't give a shit about what was happening with Chantel, do you think I'd check into her channel? Do you think I'd talk about it? Do you think I'd watch her videos? No. I might find her boring as sin, and I might find her to be an awful person, but I care what's happening in the larger beats of her life. So you want people to have that emotional reaction. You just don't want to hear it, see it, or interact with it in any meaningful way.
And that's the problem. That's how I feel like I want to deal with my problems. You know what I mean? Like my family members. Did you look at any online resources? Yes. I signed up for the websites. I've been looking at these freaking workshops. I don't want to do any more deep breathing right now.
She doesn't want to do anything right now. She's like, I signed up for these exercises. I looked at, some online stuff. Have you gone to any of the stuff? Have you attended even a virtual meeting? Have you talked about getting a therapist again? Have you gotten the STD panel done? Have you done all of those things, all the health stuff that you have to do both for mental and physical? Because it doesn't seem like you have.
And learning stress management. I don't need that. I don't feel like I need that. I feel like what I need is a psychotherapist. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm just frustrated right now.
She does need a psychotherapist. Look, from personal experience, what I can tell you is that you need to talk to a few different psychotherapists before you find one that works for you. But you don't find that out right away. You need to go to a couple of sessions with different therapists before you figure out whether or not they're a good fit for you. And I don't think that she has done any of that. Has she contacted someone and said, hey, I need to talk to a therapist, urgently, you need to find a slot for me? Because I can tell you as someone who's part of the healthcare industry and also who has so much family in the healthcare industry, when you have someone who's an addict like this, people can and will prioritize them as much as they can. Sorry, I had to cut out a cough. She hasn't done any of the work required. She hasn't gone in and talked to someone to get a therapist appointment scheduled. She hasn't done any of that stuff. She's just saying, I need a therapist. And then she's going to come back eventually and say, well, I contacted them the one time. I called them and they never got back to me. You have to advocate for your own health. I've said this before, but self-advocacy in medicine is very important. Doctors, nurses, all of those people, they are human beings. They're trying their best and they care a lot. But they are, at the end of the day, just people. And they don't know what they're doing every time. And they don't know if what they're doing is correct. And they don't know those things. Sometimes they're wrong. It's been known to happen. Sometimes they don't believe you. That's been known to happen. That's why self-advocacy is so important, and everyone should be doing it. And the fact that Chantel just thinks, well, I sent them that one email, and she knows this. That's the thing. She knows exactly the effect this will have. She knows that people aren't likely to get back to her. She just doesn't care, because then she has to say, well, I contacted them. They haven't gotten back to me yet. And at the same time, she has to engage in those negative, risky behaviors because she's like, well, I don't have a therapist. I don't know what I should be doing.
I'm just verbal diarrhea because I don't talk to you guys. And you like my video diary, kind of, in a weird way.
No, we're not.
Someone even gave me shit for saying plain cheeseburgers.
This is not a diary. Diaries can be very therapeutic, and diaries don't talk back to you and they don't give you affirmations. The reason why diaries work so much for why they work so well for so many people is because it's a process in which you have to put words to emotions and feelings and then chronicle them. And sometimes just the act of doing that, of like having to think about what you're feeling, can help you work through a lot of stuff. That's why it works quite well, actually. If you're ever like really mad at someone, try writing them a letter and then reading the letter back. It helps a lot because then you look at it and you're like, okay, are these the things I'm actually feeling, or am I mad about something else? Or am I still feeling that strongly about them now that I've given words to all of my emotions? Maybe you go back and you tweak stuff. Maybe you cross out some lines and you add different ones. Maybe you send that letter. Sometimes a partner and I have disagreements. I literally will write out like an entire notes app thing. And I'm like, these are all of the things that I am mad at you about. And these are all the things I need clarification on. Right? And it's very helpful. This is not a diary because A, Chantel doesn't go back and watch all of these things. B, she doesn't sit there and like choose her words and think about what thought she's giving like wordage to, right? She doesn't do any of that introspection part of it, which is so important in a diary. And there is a section of people who are there who are just basically there to like cheerlead her and just say, you go, queen, you're doing so well, you got this, sweetie, without any understanding of the fact that that's not what Chantel really needs. What Chantel needs is for someone to shake her by her shoulders and knock some therapy into her brain.
It's not plain cheeseburgers. It's plain cheeseburger. Can you get one of your members' names right? As if I don't like you guys and I treat you like shit.
I left that in there, especially just so close together with the comment that she made to plain cheeseburger, not plain cheeseburger, to the Punisher. Because she's like, as if I don't like you guys and if I treat you like shit. Well, you were just treating some of your members like shit. So I'm like, it's a fair assumption.
And I do it on purpose. Thank you. Sit down.
It's not on purpose. It's actually worse than that. If she was doing it on purpose, calling him plain cheeseburger rather than plain cheeseburgers, that would be one thing. Because then you're doing it, you've some intentionality behind them. You recognize them as an individual. She does it because she literally has no recognition of this person. She doesn't even remember. It's not even a thought to her, despite the fact that this person is very prolific in her comments and talks endlessly about her, defends her endlessly. It's an afterthought to her. This conversation, these people mean nothing to her.
I think a lot of people don't really have like a, I like skinny, I don't like skinny. It's just like, I like this person. How, that sounds so nice. It doesn't have to be, I like fat chicks. I don't like skinny chicks. Maybe we just can leave that out and just, I like you. That's what Bibi told me.
So the thing is, I start a lot of sentences with, so the thing is, I would agree with that. I think for the most part, you shouldn't focus on whether a person is fat or thin because that's likely to change throughout their lifetime. But you should be like, I just like you as a person. With that in mind, Also keep in mind that just because you like somebody as a person doesn't mean that that person can't also feel that, like, hey, they may be unhealthy, right? Like, I've liked people in the past who were heavy, on like the heavier side. And I mean like significantly heavy. And when I looked at them, I didn't think they were unattractive. I didn't find myself not wanting to be with them, not wanting to spend time with them. But I was also very cognizant of the fact that, hey, this person, like, my worry was, look, I don't open up to people very easily. I'm emotionally stunted in some ways, which is why I get so much therapy. And I don't open up to people very easily. So if I like fall in love with somebody and I marry them and I want to spend my entire life with them, if they fucking die because they can't stop eating, oh my God, you had better believe when I see you in the afterlife, I'm going to strangle you and murder you. So I can't do that. You have to take a certain level of care of yourself. And I hate wives. I hate people who have to like constantly nag their partners. You are my partner. You are not my child. I shouldn't have to baby you. I am not going to sit there and tell you, please eat your vegetables. Why are you having this much sugar? Why are you behaving this way? Have you folded your laundry and put it away? I don't like doing that. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to be that person. I don't like when other people do it to their spouses. I don't like have that behavior being displayed towards me, and I don't want to do it to other people. I just don't like it. I'm an adult. I will treat you like an adult. I will tell you if I think you're doing something incorrectly, maybe a couple times, and then I'm going to leave it. And if it's something that I need you to do, I will either remind you again, or if you don't do it at that point either, I'll just do it myself. I am not the kind of person who tells their husband like a bajillion times, hey, why haven't you washed the dishes? Why haven't you washed the dishes? Why haven't you washed the dishes? Blah, I can't do it 3 times. But like, if they still haven't done it, I just go and do it myself. My hands aren't broken. I can take care of it, right? So I can understand if someone looks at somebody like, say, Chantal or Amberlynn, and they say, I think you're a great person. I would love to be with you if you were 100 pounds less. And in their head, it might not mean, I don't like you because you're fat. It might mean, I don't think I can get into a relationship where I know you're going to die so soon. And I don't think that's an unfair thought to have.
I was so insecure when we first got together because he showed, like, I saw pictures of him in Senegal and he was with his ex and she was like really good looking. Like, she had a nice body. So
She's still so hung up on him.
Even good looking is too subjective.
She's so hung up on him.
And he's like, I'm like, but you don't like fat girls. He's like, I like you. I don't care. It's not, you know.
That's really sweet.
He didn't like me to be fat. He wanted me to be healthy.
And you see that sadness. You can literally hear it in her voice. He didn't want me to be fat. He didn't care about me being fat. He wanted me to be healthy. And that's the disconnect. He wanted you to be healthy. And honestly, I think her health is exactly what cost them their relationship. I think that if she still had the ability to have children, I don't think BB and her would have ended. I really don't. Even if maybe like the initial romance wasn't there anymore. Even if she said she didn't want kids. I think as long as he thought that that was a possibility, as long as he thought that, hey, maybe I could have that with her one day, I think he would have stayed with her. Because I don't think you stay with someone for 8 years if you don't have some amount of love for them. Even if it's no longer that passionate, boiling, burning love that you had when you first started. Because I know she said there were 5 good years and then 3 bad years. But bad years can just mean complacency. Chantel's understanding of what bad is can just mean normalcy, just means settling into your relationship, you know? It's hard to judge what she means when she says stuff like that.
I couldn't date somebody with the same problem as me with a food addiction. I couldn't go through that. I feel like I'm dating myself, you know? No.
Fair enough. And I really think that if she was with someone who also had a few food addiction, I think that they would gain an enormous amount of weight together.
I would go live later from the bed. But you people think I'm doing fucking... I don't know where they hear that. Doing lines. I really don't. Like, that's very specific.
I'm gonna leave it at that because I just want everybody to remember that Chantel said that, okay? I just want everyone to remember, like, she's like so cocky. That's the attitude you should remember the next time she comes on here and she complains about her ill health from all of her poor decision making when it comes to food and drugs, legal or otherwise, when she's like, guys, I don't know if I can do this. That's the smugness of, I could have gone live from the bed if, you guys weren't so awful about it all the time. Okay, so that will be the end of my Chantal video for now. Like I said, I'll come back on. I'll be talking about her open chat. There's a few things in there that I want to discuss. I'll be using Jacylin's video because, oh my God, 2-hour live to edit down. She's doing God's work. She really is. And I have no doubt in my mind that Chantal was engaging in illegal drugs when she went over to Dom's place. He brings out that side in her. They're both very toxic together. I don't know when she's going to crash and burn again, but I do genuinely think it's just a matter of time. And I hope to God that no one's caught in her debris. That's all I can say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to keep this outro short. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, go ahead, give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. I respect everybody's opinions here. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below and hit all if you want to know when I upload any videos right away. As always, all my social medias are linked down below. I've got Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job I'm doing here and you want me to continue, hey, consider tossing a few coins in my direction. You don't have to, and it's not necessary, but genuinely, it really helps me out. If you guys aren't aware, I've been filming this whole time on a brand new tripod, and I bought that due to my patrons. So thank you guys. You're the real VIPs. Real VIPs? VIPs. Right? It's a P. Chantel's rotted my brain. A special thank you to D. Higgins, who, as always, is my $25 patron. She is awesome, and I love her. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace. A special thank you to my patrons, Acrophobe, Ariel M, Christina, Courtney EP, Wild Rose, Xanthal, Jam Beans, Colleen L, Debbie Elliott, Just a Jude, Kate O, and D. Higgins. Oh my God, it is 3 a.m. I am going to be so tired for work tomorrow. This is such a bad idea. Why do I do this to myself?